as he were heralded with the "You will be sacked in the morning, you will be sacked in the morning" chants by fans. Football is carrying music, it's carrying poetry, it's carrying religion, it is carrying books. There are literatures. Almost every Premier League football club on the match day releases a magazine, a conversation about what they expect to achieve on that day. This wasn't the case 5 decades ago. This was unheard of, when Pelé and Maradona were playing. But we live in a time where people are literally knocking at the doors of every social media page, finding out what is the latest about their club. Is this not an obsession?
I wouldn't say it's an obsession. Even if it is, for me it's not a negative thing. I mean, I look at music, for instance, as a soundtrack of life. It's like when you apply a lubricant to your engine, it just runs smoother.
Yeah.
It's not as though we cannot live without these things, but life will certainly grind harder without all of these elements coming in to help smoothing it one way or the other. Is it an obsession? Maybe, but not a negative one, because really there are more positives than there are vices attached to our love and followership of the game.
Because there's more to be enjoyed by the followership. Now, in Louisville, Kentucky, Super Bowl 48 years ago was a huge hit. How huge? The telecast from that particular sporting event, ladies and gentlemen, attracted a record back then of 101.5 million viewers. To put that in context, right? At that time, right, the American population was just about 215 million. So basically, 1 in every 2 persons on that day followed American football, another sporting event. Something is definitely cooking. Football, the new religion. When we come back, more from Kosi, and we'll open the phone lines.
Nigeriainfo will be right back.
the way over there to where we are right here, 93.3 Nigeria. My name is Jude Omamigbe. Kosi is in the studio and we are talking about the new religion, and that is football. Now, my question, I'm going to get into my question right now, and I think I should pose the question first to Kosi this morning. Don't forget, you can follow us on social media at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeriainfo. PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. And WhatsApp, send us a message or your messages to 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. Now, my question is, do you think football or sport is taking a large part of people's lives these days? All right. And then I also asked, what sport or team do you actively follow or support? Kosi, I'll start with you before we get into the other listeners. Do you think sports, football, is taking a very large part of people's lives in our modern society?
Well, on one hand, you would ask yourself certain questions. All of the time that we spend debating football, talking about the superstars, beefing up our partisanship when it comes to these teams and the individuals involved. Could we, for instance, then channel it to something a little bit more productive,
like end world hunger, for example?
Yeah, but then you look at the other things football is also competing with. Should the same thing apply to music? I mean, the yearly stats for each individual listener on Spotify has come out, and you can see the time being spent enjoying music. What about movies, for instance? Do I think that it's occupying an unhealthy position amongst the lives of people? In a way, yes. In a way, yes. But I don't think still that it's the worst thing in the world. We really do need these distractions. Let me give you an example. I think that the climax of my year happened in February of this year. In terms of, the feelings and emotions that I felt. And what was happening in February? We were having the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire. The day Nigeria beat South Africa via penalties to make it to the finals. We even interrupted the live broadcast across the stations in this building because everyone was hugging each other and screaming for joy. I have not felt such a thing in a long time.
That's probably a massive boost of euphoria.
Exactly. So it's only football can make that possible. So we're grappling with a lot of things. It's getting increasingly difficult to get by every single day for the average person. So if we can have a weekend where you can go support your Barcelona or your Man United or your Man City or Arsenal and as I said, live a little bit vicariously through them. Yeah. Have their successes rub off on your feelings, even if it's going to be short-lived before you start facing the realities of life again. I don't think there's anything. These things are the vegetations of life. All right? They are not the most important things, but they can assume their own positions. And what would life be like, really, if it's just there, stark, without the greenery that things like music, like things like movies, and things like football bring into the mix? I might be a little bit biased here because if you take away the game, I might be in the unemployment market too. But it's I don't think it's such a terrible thing that people still devote time to it.
All right, now on Facebook, Namasi Odum says, we are Manchester United. Old Trafford is our place of worship. Old Trafford is our heaven. Football is our religion. And it's interesting that Namasi says this because a few years ago, whilst I was following rugby, because I've had my hands and my interest on a variety of sports, I had a journalist, it was a motoring journalist. He was going to test some cars, right? And Jeremy Clarkson is his name, by the way. And then he was asked, he wanted to get to Twickenham in the UK. Twickenham is the stadium where rugby is played. And then he was told He was given a plethora of things not to do and what to do and how to do them. And then it was written at the end, on these hallowed grounds. This is where about 23 or 4 people are going to be running around sweating, and the grass will be ripped off and then replaced a few weeks later. It was clearly written, Kosi, on these hallowed grounds. That is rugby. Basically, that is a sporting event. Are we not becoming a little bit, cuckoo with this?
I don't think so. And you're speaking to someone who comes from a city where our stadium is called the Cathedral. When Rangers play in Enugu, it's said that we go to the cathedral to worship. It's been there historically, even till this moment. There, that stadium at Ogui Road, it's everything. I mean, it's Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. Are they not like saints?
You know what? Welcome. Let's get into that conversation. 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003, 0817923-0002, 0817923-0003, at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH, right, is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X, all right, at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH. Now, Lady V on WhatsApp says, greetings, Jude, and to the scintillating sport journalist, Kosi Honor. Please, Jude, ask Honor Kosi about his fight. Uppercut in Port Harcourt with Ekpo coming up. Is this still going to happen? What should the fans be expecting? Kosi, you have to answer that very quickly.
Look, I've had a policy through this. I would be the one to speak less.
Okay.
And then hopefully turn up tomorrow
at the event.
And show walking.
Okonkwo is on the line from Mumbokuta. Okonkwo, good morning to you.
Yes, Brother Jude, good morning.
Good morning, please.
I'm grateful to be part of this topic. There was a country that football was played on Sunday, and the majority that went to watch ball or the game were more in number than those that went to church.
Yes.
It is a physical evidence of the level of the knowledge of God going down. Yes. Number one, I go to church on Sundays. My number one reason is for God to hear my prayers. Because the Bible tells us Hannah prayed, Elijah prayed, and God heard their prayers. Number two, I go to church for God to protect me. Because Isaiah 54 says protection comes from God. The last one, being the third one, I go to church to pray so that God will give me a long life. Because Isaiah 38 says the life of Hezekiah finished and God added more life. So as I go to watch the ball, what do I benefit or what do I profit from watching ball?
That's a good question.
It is completely zero. I don't benefit anything. It's just to go to a stadium so that my team emotional feeling will rise. Apart from that, nothing. So church is more relevant and more crucial to me than going to watch ball. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Okoko. Now let's get a comment, Kosi, here, to, as it were, juxtapose and maybe in some cases maybe oppose what Okoko just said. On my wedding day, if #Arsenal has a match, I will cancel the wedding. And if my wife to be does not agree, then she has to choose between me and the wedding. Period. After God, now Arsenal, do me flex Desmond.
I mean, you have to respect the views of the last caller, but at the same time, you have to also remind him that those are the particulars of his own feelings on the subject. I don't think he might be correct in policing
how people
and what they derive from the game. He might not derive much from football, but people do derive a lot from the game. And his argument might make one wonder about the omnipresence of the Creator, because if you can encounter him everywhere, including at the stadium, must you then be inside a particular building to be? I don't know. These are just questions.
Roy is on the line from Dubai. Roy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kosi.
Morning, Roy.
Morning. So the question is sports taking a huge part of our life, right?
Do you think it is? For you.
Yeah, for me, yes, it is. It's a huge part of our life because, well, starting from example, now we have something about the entertainment industry. We have musicians singing about our favorite players because, and I have a friend of mine, when he sees a song that is feel about his favorite player, he tends to listen to the song. Then we also have the marketing industry. We have Nivea, they partner with Jude Bellingham and Real Madrid because it's like a business boost. When you see Jude Bellingham, you see Real Madrid on your Nivea cream, you tend to want to like it. At some point, it also like detergent. I don't really want to call their name. At some point in time, they use Paris Saint-Germain, Lionel Messi, and some other players as their front picture. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is Lionel Messi on my detergent. I think I would get this detergent because, well, Lionel Messi is.
It's marketing. Yeah.
Hello, yeah?
Yeah, it's marketing. Go on.
Yeah, so it's spread around. Even movies, we have movies where they talk about footballers, and definitely, if I was to ask it out, like, if Lionel Messi was to come to Nigeria, Ronaldo was to come to Nigeria, and then we have someone like Jake Gyllenhaal, we have someone like Jason Statham was to come to the country, definitely there will be more people going after the soccer fans because they have more influence on us than all these movie stars that we have at the moment. Same as if we have someone like Ronaldo, someone like Messi, and someone like Drake, someone like Eminem, we definitely go for Lionel Messi and Ronaldo instead of Drake and Eminem. So the influence that they have on us is really much because some of us go to church and at the back of our minds, it's more like we have our team is playing today, my team is playing now. What are they playing now? Like for me, during Champions League night when I'm in church, sometimes I just to kind of check what my team is playing because I don't really think, it happens. So it's just there. The drive that they give to us is too much. Sometimes you stay and you look, my team is losing. You just feel like eating. All those things are it's just really complicated, but it's there. And someone said football is the most important of the least important things, and yes, I think it was really, really right. It's like Coach said, it's not really most of the important things, but it's more like it's important.
It's important, but not that important.
It's not an obsession too. It's not obsession. It's just that it's a good thing. Like he said, it's a good thing.
All right, Roy says it's a good thing. Ken, is it Ubumini? Ken, big fan of football, big fan of sports.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, Ken.
And good morning, Kosi.
Morning, Ken.
I'm surprised to hear your voice at this time of the day instead of the evening time.
We had to beg, we had to sign, we had to meet his agents. It was not an easy thing.
And I believe that tomorrow is his day. What do they call it? Inyang. I think tomorrow is the battle day.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Mr. Jude, you see, in my own perspective, not only football self, I believe that sport is a therapy. Because if you realize and observe what one is deriving from watching football or focusing on football, you know that the joy there gives you what you don't even. If you go to hospital for a test, you know that you are gaining something. So if you ask me, football is quite different from what some people are talking about going to church. Yes, there is time for everything.
Yeah.
There is time for worshiping. There is time for luxury. There is time for seriousness. There is time for pleasure. So the pleasure here is the football we are not talking about. Probably sport entirely.
But that's the thing, Ken and Kosi. All this is mentioned, and now inside football, the time people want to worship, they are worshiping in a manner of speaking, like Kosi said, the Lionel Messi and the Cristiano Ronaldos. They are seen as the saints of football. Endurance in the life of Melele, and our final caller is Alozie from Omuma. Endurance, go on, please.
Hello, Mr. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Endurance.
Okay, when it comes to football, I don't have any one atom of feeling for football or interest. In fact, even after your 7 o'clock business news, you're going to football, I have to switch my radio.
No problem.
So I don't have any interest in football.
But do you think people who do are spending too much time with football?
To them, they know what they derive from it. For me, I don't have any interest in football. If it's music, okay, I'll give my time for it. But if it's football, no.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Alozie from Omuma. Alozie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Happy weekend.
I wish
it's Friday.
It is. Yes.
The issue on this course. Now this matter make one woman will be the common media say any person where they watch football will go to hellfire.
Yeah, really?
So this issue has different layers, and these layers is as a result of how person interpret what the scripture is saying about worshiping God and what society seems to be to them. I am an ardent Arsenal fan. So first thing we should think as human, if a Christian, if a Muslim, and you understand that the life you are living is not coming out of your own volition or out of your own strength or your own muscle, and you have the knowledge that there is a person who owns this life, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you should do as a human? You acknowledge God, you thank God.
Okay.
Have a day you bring out to worship God. I think this should not come between sports and worshiping God. There was a day I have a church program to go. Arsenal had match on that same evening. In fact, it was during our Lenten period. Arsenal have match by 5 o'clock, and that day was washing of feet. And I still have to go to church for washing of feet on that same day. You know what I did? I said no. Let me go to church.
Okay.
I will watch the repeat of that match the following day, or I can watch it with my phone. So it's about individual. You
can watch you can watch on your phone whilst in church. Okay. Yeah, you've answered the question. That laugh was all the answer I needed. But Kosi, as we wrap up, you made mention, yes, that the Cristiano Ronaldos, the Lionel Messi, the Olivier Giroud, the Ronaldinhos, the Maradonas, and Pelés were the saints of football. People literally hero worship these individuals.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to point out the parallels between spirituality, as it argues, and football with its own version of such figures, because they are very connected in terms of where people find anchorage for emotion, euphoria, and a sense of purpose, and then entertainment. So they are all very mixed together.
Jude and Muhammad Ali of commentary, good morning. I rep Real Madrid and Bayern because of you, Jude. Oh yes, I am a Bayern Munich fan. Jude, when Nigeria won against South Africa at the AFCON, we had to stop work for that game, and we went to my boss's house to watch the game. And after the penalties, Diana just scored the winning goal. We were hugging and dancing, and after that, we were giving extra tips because Nigeria won. Let's not juxtapose football and Christianity. Christianity is a lifestyle, while football is a religion to us. Kosi, please come tomorrow, silence Ekpo for us. Hala Madrid. Oh my goodness. John here. I believe that God knew what he was doing when he said, build a temple for me to dwell. That God is omnipresent. Does not take away the fact that God resides in the church. I'm a football fan, huge one. But it should be priorities. My priorities says that communing with God comes first. And finally, this one says, football gives me happiness, which is in a short time, but being in church gives me joy. But if I'm in church and there's football, it will be a good thing for me to do. How can you put church and football in the same place? Well, look at the Anfield faithfuls, because you know this. You will never walk alone. They can scream that for at least 45 minutes. How many of you can do that in your church? Well, the conversation is still open. The discussions, even science is taking a very close look at the phenomenon that is football. Kosi, thank you very much for joining me this morning. Hopefully, when the time comes tomorrow, may the best man win.
Best man synonym for Kosi.
Okay, all right, there you have it.